when resettlements and repairs are completed for those households. And thirdly, we continue with the installations to households whose homes' physical structures were not damaged by the rains or were not badly damaged by the rains. And in terms of the end-of-life stage for analog technology and digital television as a new way of watching television in South Africa, we have previously indicated that we have received correspondence from the analog transmitters, technology manufacturers and repairers that their last inventory stock hold was in 2018, meaning that if the analog transmitter breaks down now, we do not have parts to replace that transmitter. On the 24th of February 2022, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, on behalf of the International Trade Administration Commission of South Africa, and following a request from the Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies, gazetted an invitation for the public to comment on the introduction of a policy directive on the importation of analog television sets. The intention of the policy directive is to prohibit importers, retailers, wholesalers and manufacturers from shipping to and importation of all analog television sets classified under HS 8528.7 after 31st March 2022, meaning that after the 31st March 2022, you can no longer import an analog television or manufacture an analog television in the country of South Africa, which standard I have mentioned, which classification I have mentioned. Understanding that the retail market will have analog TV sets that will remain even when the importation has been stopped, the Minister of Communications and Digital Technology has commenced consultations with the TV sets manufacturers and distributors within the country with the purpose of gazetting a policy directive to require for all digital television sets in South Africa to carry a Go Digital stamp to assist consumers from purchasing analog television sets or to be able to identify the correct digital television sets. And given the prevalence of smart television sets in this country, Sentech will commence a process to create a channel to carry streaming content or OTT from the current DTT and DTH platform. More details will be shared during the department's budget vote speech on the 18th May 2022. We will also provide further details on additional channels on the DTT DTH platform during the budget vote speech with the purpose of bringing new and additional content with new owners as part of growing and diversifying South Africa's creative industry and transformation of the media. In conclusion, we are currently implementing an accelerated distribution and installation of set-top drives in the remaining 4 provinces of Gauteng, Western Cape, Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal to ensure that we meet the deadline of both the 30th of June 2022 and the 30th of September 2022. The government of South Africa remains committed to its objective of supporting indigent households to ensure universal access of digital services. We will commence with the end of September target immediately when we conclude a province for those who were registered after the 31st of October 2022, as it is the case in Gauteng province. We are also in the process of creating STB capacity for subsequent registrations and placement in the retail market for future replacement and access to any requiring citizen. I need to clarify this, that we are going to put the government set-top box on the retail market. We will announce further details soon so that those who do not qualify for government subsidy or government support should be able to buy a government set-top box in the retail market. And lastly, we are continuing to increase our capacity to install more set-top boxes daily, and Sentech is out on a call for STB installer applications to augment our installation capacity. Therefore, Sentech is consistently intensifying installer capacity nationally to ensure that all registered and qualifying households are migrated within the set timelines, and those that are outside those timelines, that they are connected as speedily as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for a comprehensive report indeed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will open our session to questions. We will have, let's take the first round of 5 questions. Can we take 3 questions online? And then we'll take 2 questions from colleagues who are here in the House. Can we check with Ignatius? Questions, first three? There's no question yet. Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, then questions from the House. Do we have questions? It was indeed an informative and a very comprehensive brief. It will not surprise me if there are no questions. It was very detailed and giving confidence. Any question? In the absence of any question, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us then to the conclusion of our media briefing. Thank you so much for coming through. We really appreciate. Is okay? A question just come through. I just hope it will not trigger many more.
It's from Andy Makilana from Sunday Times. Says that the department told the High Court in March that it would be able to install 500,000 set-top boxes in 2 weeks in all the properties by then March 31 deadline. Did you manage to install these set-top boxes within those 2 weeks? And how many did you install? And how many households will you have to install a day to make the June deadline? And the last question, who is going to manufacture the government set-top box? Or is this just the existing stock at SAPO warehouses? What procurement processes are being followed? That's only the only question.
It's quite packed with a number of sub-questions. I just hope, I'm not sure, Honourable Minister or COO.
Good afternoon, colleagues, and thank you very much, Minister, for a detailed BDM update. Yeah, in terms of the questions from Sunday Times, I think Andile asked a question in terms of the target for end of March. Minister gave a clear indication in terms of progress. The total number of distributed set-top boxes, again, the 507, as at the 25th of April, is 258,000. And of those, we confirm that 109 have been activated. In terms of our plan, we are proceeding to ensure that all the set-top boxes, the 507 that has been set by the court to be installed by the end of June, is indeed installed during the remaining period. So of the 507, we will take what is remaining and conclude it in the month of May and June, colleagues. In terms of the installer capacity, you'll have to take about the 400 that is remaining and distribute it over the active working days of a month, which is about 22 days per month. Obviously, April was full of holidays, but we are fortunate that May going forward, we will not have as many holidays. So one looks at anything between 5 and 10,000 installations per day to conclude the installations. But we do have plans. We are increasing capacity. Minister highlighted that Centec is increasing installer capacity. So we're quite comfortable with the target. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I need to indicate a few things. So when we assured the High Court that we are going to install the remaining 507,000, we had planned not to sleep. So the judges were very generous and allowed us to sleep. If you had followed us on social media, we had teams across the country. We were waking non-stop, non-sleeping. So when the High Court came out and we said, then we don't have to sleep. But the undertaking we had made even to the High Court was that the 31st of March, if it had arrived and we had not installed those who had applied by the 31st of October 2021, who were 507,000 odd, we will not have switched off until those were connected or installed. That is the undertaking. I did not only make that to the High Court, I made that to Cabinet before in September, on the 29th of September 2021, and also to the nation on the 5th of October 2021. In terms of the procurement, if you had indicated there are manufacturers of set-top boxes here, in terms of the current numbers that we need to install, we have the capacity that are within the government that have already been procured. So the numbers that have applied, that have been installed, we have the set-top boxes. We don't have to install, we don't have to procure more. In terms of the new ones that we want to procure and put in the market, they will follow the due process, which has nothing to do with me. It has to do with USASA, who are the custodian of the program, and they know what to do to follow that process. They've done it previously, and they've got a mechanism to install. So that's what I need to indicate, and I want to thank you for the questions, and I hopefully the other questions that will come through will send written replies so that we don't hold the media briefing just for one or two questions. We can then send written replies to those specific questions if they are there. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, this then brings us to the end of our briefing session. Thank you.
If we can get the statement.
No, he's done. He's apparently putting on the letterhead.
Okay. Let's put it on the letterhead and move forward. Yeah, the picture. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting it to you. Yeah.
You saw the last idea of end of life.
Yes, it is important.
I want to find out the process.
Great.
Where can we get this?
Now they know that they have to wait.
Yes.
It will be in the day market soon.
It's going to be. I'm watching you. And now with those manufacturers, I'm sure life is going to be easy.
Yeah, there's market for them. No, they're going to.
No, I met with them this morning.
Not at all.